turns gold. There's a code monkey with a heart so bold, tapping on keys like the made up your soul, building dreams out of digits, making websites roll. Oh, Austin code monkey, working all night. SEO wizard making rankings take flight. From the Texas heat to the neon glow, you're the constant king of the SEO show.
If you run a small business in, I don't know, a place that's just booming, like Austin, Texas, or Denver, you know how intense the local market is?
Oh, it's brutal.
It's just deafening. Getting found on Google isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's basically the difference between surviving and not.
It's a complete zero-sum game in local search. And the thing is, what we find is that most businesses they're only doing half the job. They'll dabble here and there, but there's no cohesive strategy.
Exactly. So today, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise. We've been looking at the complete digital marketing blueprint from an Austin-based SEO company, Austin Code Monkey. We're using their whole strategy as a case study, really, to understand what it actually takes for a small business to dominate local search for the long haul.
And our mission here isn't just to talk about this one company, but to sort of pull out the universal principles from their approach, the things that work everywhere.
So here's the big question for you listening. What are the specific factors that turn a single marketing tactic into a robust, sustainable strategy that actually keeps delivering results? Let's unpack this blueprint.
Yeah.
Let's start with their core philosophy. They make a pretty big claim, calling themselves the best Austin SEO company for small business. What's the differentiator there?
Well, the sources point to one thing right away: local market focus. They argue that being locally owned isn't just, a nice little bullet point. It means they have this intimate, on-the-ground understanding of Central Texas that some big national agency just can't have.
Okay, but is it really enough to just know the area? I feel like every local agency says that. What did the source material actually point to that proves that knowledge is superior?
It's the granularity of it. They don't just say Austin. They're very explicit, calling out how they tailor strategies for specific neighborhoods like downtown, South Congress, East Austin, and even the big surrounding towns, Round Rock, Cedar Park, Pflugerville. That level of specificity, it suggests they're targeting hyperlocal search intent, not just these broad citywide terms.
You're getting more qualified customers, not just volume.
Exactly. And of course, they have to back that up with trust. The sources detail a really consistent track record of getting first-page rankings for a super diverse group of clients.
Like who?
Local restaurants, professional services, e-commerce, healthcare. That kind of breadth tells you the framework itself is solid no matter what they're selling.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me, the ethics part. They make a huge promise about sticking to Google's webmaster guidelines. Only white hat techniques. That's a promise that's easy to make, but the digital world is a graveyard of businesses that chased a quick black hat trick and got completely torched by a Google update.
For sure. And that's where their reporting comes in. They stress these clear, detailed reports without all the confusing jargon.
So the client actually knows what's going on.
Right. The whole idea is that you always understand what is being done and why it's being done. It's about building a partnership, building a long-term digital asset for the client, not just chasing a temporary ranking spike.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've got the foundation trust, local knowledge. Now let's get into the mechanics, what they actually do. Because the philosophy is only as good as its execution, right?
Yeah, correct. You can't just have one piece of the puzzle. The modern landscape, it requires a completely integrated approach. The website, the content, the authority, it all has to work together.
So let's start with the foundation. The process kicks off with keyword research and strategy. That seems logical. Identifying valuable search terms, checking out the competition.
And then immediately feeds into the next pillar, which is local SEO services.
Oh.
This is the engine for all those near me searches.
Okay, so what does that actually involve?
That's things like optimizing your Google My Business profile, managing your online reviews, building local citations, making sure you show up on Google Maps. If you're a plumber or a doctor, this part is, it's just non-negotiable.
Right. Okay, so now we're moving from strategy to the actual website itself. The sources group 3 really key technical elements together. And I found this interesting. Why is web design and development listed as an SEO pillar? Isn't that more of an IT thing?
It used to be, But not anymore. Today, SEO isn't an afterthought you just sprinkle on top. It has to be baked into the foundation. They say they create websites from the ground up with SEO best practices. That means things like conversion-focused design and critically fast loading times.
Yeah.
If your site takes more than, say, 2 or 3 seconds to load,
You're gone. The customer's gone, and so is Google.
exactly. And that leads right into the core infrastructure, on-page SEO optimization, and technical SEO. Now, the jargon here can get a little thick, so let's slow down.
Yeah, what's...
The way to think about it is on-page SEO is making sure a human reader knows what the page is about. That's your title tags, meta descriptions, URL structure. Technical SEO is making sure the Google bot understands the site. This is where you get into site speed, mobile friendliness, and tools like robots.txt, which basically tells search engines where they can and can't go.
And what about this other one, schema markup? That sounds deeply technical. Why should a small business owner even care about that?
Because it's the language that helps Google understand the context of your page. If you're a restaurant, schema tells Google, hey, this is our phone number, these are our hours, here's our menu.
Ah, so you're translating the information for the machine.
Precisely. And that's what helps you get those really nice eye-catching results, what they call rich snippets, directly in the search results.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so once the site is technically sound, you have to prove you're an authority on the subject. Which brings us to the final 3 pillars: SEO content writing, link building, and business explainer videos.
Right, content is the fuel for this whole engine. And we're not talking about just filler text. This is about creating engaging, useful, keyword-optimized material, blog posts, service pages that actually answers customer questions.
And if content is the fuel, then I guess link building is kind of like the peer review process.
That's a great way to put it. It's about ethically earning high-quality backlinks from other relevant sites. That's what signals to Google that other trusted resources are vouching for you.
Okay, and the last one, business explainer videos. This feels like a bit of an outlier. Why videos?
Because you have to capture traffic from everywhere. This is about creating affordable video content that's optimized for YouTube SEO. You're not just chasing Google search anymore.
Well, you're going after video search traffic too.
You are, and it has the added benefit of improving engagement and conversion rates once people actually land on your website.
So we have the complete picture now. A philosophy built on trust, a strategy built on local knowledge, and then the execution built on these 8 interlocking pillars. How does all this translate into, a real-world partnership? What does that look like for the small business owner?
The focus is heavily on ROI, return on investment. The sources emphasize that they offer tailored solutions and affordable pricing specifically for small businesses. So the packages are flexible, but the framework is universal.
And to manage all of this, they use a very structured 5-step results-driven process. It starts with discovery and analysis, which is the deep dive audit and competitor analysis.
Which then leads to strategy development, creating that custom roadmap we've been talking about. Then, of course, comes implementation.
The actual work.
And then the ongoing part, monitoring and optimization for continuous improvement. And the last crucial step, reporting and communication.
Which brings us back to that transparency promise. Clear updates on traffic, rankings, and most importantly, ROI.
And this whole structured process is so important because, as they really stress, SEO is a long-term investment. They're very clear about setting expectations.
What are those expectations?
They say you can expect measurable improvements within 3 to 6 months, but the significant game-changing results, those typically start showing up between 6 and 12 months.
That timeline is so critical. And it must dictate the contracts. Do they lock people in for a year?
Well, they clarify that they offer both monthly and contract-based plans, kind of relying on their performance to keep clients. And they address the guarantee question directly.
Which is?
No reputable company can guarantee a specific ranking because the algorithms are always changing. But they can guarantee their commitment to using proven, ethical, white hat strategies. It's the difference between a promise and a commitment.
That's a really important distinction. And as a final sort of operational note, they list their hours from 10:00 a.m. to 10:00 p.m. That's a wide window.
It speaks to the level of commitment, I think, that constant monitoring and client communication that's required in such a dynamic field.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean? I think the key from this deep dive is that dominating a competitive local market takes so much more than just a few blog posts.
Oh, absolutely.
It really requires a total commitment to a full integrated digital strategy, one that leverages that deep local expertise and just relentlessly sticks to ethical practices. That seems to be the only path to sustainable growth.
And, you know, the source material mentions this non-negotiable need for their team to stay right at the forefront of every algorithm update because the landscape is just constantly evolving.
Right.
And that raises a really important question for you, the listener, the small business owner. If real game-changing SEO needs a consistent investment of 6 to 12 months just to build momentum, how do you balance that long-term strategic need with the ever-present requirement to adapt instantly to an algorithm change that could shift everything overnight? What's the real cost to your business of just standing still?
Austin Code Monkey delivers expert web design and SEO services for businesses that want more calls, more leads, and more jobs. Our SEO strategies ensure your online presence keeps growing and bringing in results. For more information, call 737-932-7532 or visit our website at austincodemonkey.com.
Austin Code Monkey, working all night. SEO isn't making rankings take flight. From the Texas heat to the neon glow, you're the code swinging king of the SEO show.